if the dead branches are not touching the ground or not creating ladder fuels, we actually say to leave the dead branches because it's not harming anything. It's an area where insects can get into, and that is, provides further food for birds that might come in to use these trees. So we like the dead wood in the oaks. Today we are located in the Mosher-Rowena area of Oregon, which is in the Columbia Gorge area, the north central part of Oregon, and we are here in an oak woodland. Our oak woodlands here on the east slope of the Cascades are a little bit different than oaks that most folks would typically think of that you might see in the western part of the state. So we're very interested in maintaining and restoring the oaks that we have, because this is one of the last strongholds in the Pacific Northwest for our oaks. So when we're looking at doing oak restoration on the ground, some of the things that we are looking at is the diameter at breast height of our trees that we have, and seeing what the diversity is within the stand, whether we have a mixture of larger diameter oaks, a lot of small diameter oaks, and based on what we find through a forest inventory, we can determine what prescription we want to complete. So some of the things that we are prescribing are to do thinning. Because fire was historically here, fire would have removed a lot of the smaller stemmed trees that sprouted up. Oaks are very, very fire tolerant. They're very hardy. A lot of people say you can't kill an oak tree, and but that's all to their credit, because as any disturbance comes through, they'll send up new shoots. But then a fire would come through and clean all that up. And so without fire, we have a lot of new oak stems that are growing and getting larger and larger and taking up more resources, and wouldn't maybe necessarily have been as dense as stands are now. And so by going through and thinning out our oak stands, we're actually bringing it back to what our landscape has the capacity to support.
Yeah, and as we're clearing it out, it's really interesting because you can see where there's been like prior people logging it, and they've left a lot of debris that really is like kindling at the base of the tree. It's kind of scary. If a fire came through, that tree's going up, whether, there wasn't, the land was cleared around it or not. So we're clearing a lot of that out. And again, you also notice as you're clearing it out, as you pull stuff out, there's little oak trees coming out or little pine trees trying to come out. And so that's kind of freeing them up to grow and then hopefully restore the health of the forest. It's really clear when you've done an area of the year how the next year you are getting more elk sedge, more native grasses. The animals start coming through. There was an area I was working on last year that was really hard even for a human to get through. And this year I was working in it again, and I started to notice elk droppings and deer droppings. So definitely the wildlife is coming back, which is kind of exciting to see, and makes the work and the effort worthwhile.
And so other things that we're looking to retain are also snags, especially large diameter ones, and that have those cavities that are visible, because those can be used either in living trees or in these dead snags, and so they're very important to maintain on the landscape.
Then I think it was around last August, I had also read that there were grants because of the White Oak Initiative, that there were grants for white oak restoration and wildlife habitat. And so then we shared that was our overall goal. We really wanted to restore the white oak. We wanted to rehabilitate the land, and we also wanted to make it more wildlife habitable.